It's time for the top 10 worst rares or mythic rares in Ravnica Allegiance.
These are the worst rares to get at your pre-release specifically. So note to everyone who is just going to be like, but I'm really excited to have this for standard, or I'm really excited to have this for commander. We're not talking about those.
No.
We're talking about you sit down at your pre-release this weekend and you crack open some boosters. What are you going to be excited to see? And we're here to tell you, what are you not going to be excited to see?
Specifically about putting in your deck. I don't even care if it's worth a lot of money. We're here to tell you what don't
exactly.
play this in your sealed deck.
Look, you're going for that sweet 4-0. What's going to help you get there? Well, someone else can tell you that, or your own brain can tell you it. We're going to tell you what's not going to. What's going to reach up and drag you down.
Okay, so what's number one?
Oh man, this one hurts my heart.
Yeah, this is a tough one to talk about, but we have to talk about it.
Kaya Orzhov Usurper. It's a planeswalker. It's a mythic.
Wow.
It is first on our list. This card is rough.
The problem with Kaya here is that she just does pretty much absolutely stone cold nothing.
Nothing.
Not even stone cold Steve Austin would play this card.
No. Does he do anything anymore?
I don't know. Probably not.
Well, whatever. For just 1 white black, 3 loyalty, you're like 3 mana planeswalker.
Ooh,
wow.
sign me up.
Okay, but +1, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. You gain 2 life if at least 1 creature card was exiled this way.
I don't know why I care about doing this, like straight up.
You like gaining 2 life.
And how many times are you gonna be able to do that before
there's no
more creatures left anyway?
-1, exile target non-land permanent. Oh, nice. With converted mana cost 1 or less.
I want to know how many
less
creatures
1 or less.
permanents this hits.
So few.
Not very many in this set.
A small handful.
And if they cost 1 or less, like chances are you don't care.
It's not.
We're not
super
playing modern.
Impactful. No. So that maybe there will be some formats in which this card is great, but it is not pre-release sealed.
What about the ultimate? Surely that must be great.
-5, Kaya Orzhov Usurper deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards that player owns in exile, and you gain that much life. Not even to a creature. Not even to a creature.
I guess this is how you would win potentially with her, but I don't know. Really underwhelming for a planeswalker.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the last planeswalker that disappointed me this much, and I think it was a Liliana that cared about zombies in your graveyard.
That one was pretty bad also.
Yeah.
This one that's the level. That is the tier of limited planeswalker that we're talking about.
Kaya, you did so many cool things in this set. You just like slayed a whole bunch of ghosts.
Yep.
And then
you usurped the Orzhov.
Yeah, you really did.
But here we are now.
All right, in no particular order, by the way, number 2.
Next up, we've got a card that again hurts me to say, but it's just the truth. Absorb.
Oh no, Megan.
It's a straight up counterspell. And do you know what? That's not what you want in your rare spot.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
you could just have a cancel.
Exactly. It's 2 colors too.
Yeah.
2 colors.
And 2 of them have to be blue.
And 2 of them have to be blue. It's just really rough.
Yeah.
It's not, again, you don't want to be the person with this in your pre-release pack when someone else is ripping sick mythics and you're like, oh, at least I can counter their sick mythics. But if you hold on to it and you're looking for like, I'm going to counter the best card in their deck, but you don't even know what that card is. So eventually you're just going to use it to counter something and you're just going to wish it was a big stompy.
Yeah. So like this card's not like bad. You can play it certainly, but,
yes, but it's not going to push you into these colors.
No.
For sure. Next up, Maria, what have we got?
All right, a Simic card here in Benthic Biomancer, a 1/1 for 1, which is already flashing my beware signals.
Yes.
1 in a blue, adapt 1. Whenever
so it can become a 2/2.
It can become a 2/2. Whee! Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, draw a card, then discard a card. So it lets you loot.
Yes. So if you have anything else that can put counters on this, or anything that can allow it to adapt more than once, like the thing that there's the rare that lets things adapt as if they didn't have counters on them. Okay, it'll be like slightly better, But we always have a rule when we're talking about cards like this in these top 10 worst rares. If it needs a bunch of things to happen for it to be good, it's just not gonna be counted as good.
That's what we call high setup cost.
Yes.
And yeah, in a really dedicated Simic deck, I think, like maybe go ahead and play this, but that's more of a draft thing that you're looking at. In sealed, you don't get the choice of how many cards you have that care about +1/+1 counters or help you put more +1/+1 counters on your creatures. And in the end, this is just super underwhelming for your rare.
What's up next?
Okay, this is a card that I'm really excited about for standard.
As many people are.
Cinder Vines, for a red and a green, it's an enchantment at rare. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Cinder Vines deals 1 damage to that player. 1, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. It deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller.
The fact just is the number of non-creature spells that your opponent's going to cast is not that high.
No.
So even if you played this on 2, it's not going to deal that much damage to them.
And if you play it on like turn a million,
it's so bad. You don't want your rare to be useless if you play it on turn 5. And this is basically useless on turn 5.
The only way I'm putting this in my deck is after sideboarding, if I see my opponent has a billion like exile effects or whatever, and they're Azorius.
Say, like a sick rare or a sick enchantment or artifact. Like, okay,
yeah,
then you'll put it in.
Sideboard. From the sideboard.
Yes.
Please don't main deck this card.
Please don't main deck.
For the safety of yourself and others.
This card. Next up, we've got Glass of the Guildpact. 2 mana artifact, multicolored creatures you control get +1/+1. Maria, how many multicolored creatures do you need to have before you personally run this card?
I don't know, like 10?
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And just to test this theory out, I drafted the set on a draft simulator and I only had 6. And that's a draft when I am personally picking what goes in my deck.
So many multicolored cards. And this is just like, okay, do you know what? I don't want to put in a card that's going to give 5 of my creatures +1/+1.
No, it does absolutely nothing.
Different parts of the game.
If you don't have creatures out that are multicolored, you've got to have those creatures on the battlefield. You've got to have a critical mass of those creatures in your deck. You've got to play this before you play those creatures.
Yes.
All of those conditions need to be met. And if you've got like that many multicolored creatures in your pre-release deck, I guess you're doing it because your pool's probably pretty good. But the chance of that fairly low.
Next up, we've got one of our favorite cards to say.
So cool. Such a good name.
Gutter Bones.
Gutter Bones.
He's just a little gutter bone.
His bones have been in the gutter.
But again, a 2/1 for 1 is just not where you want to be for your rare spot.
No, very sad, sad rare.
Even if you can get it back into your hand, if your opponent has lost life, it's just not great. It's still a 2/1. If you're in black, you're going to play it. But if you open this as your rare, you're not going to be thrilled.
No, I want my giant flying demon. That's what I want in my rare slot.
Do you know what blocks this? A 2/3.
You know what blocks this? A spirit token.
A spirit token. A spirit token trades with this.
Yes. Yeah, Gutter Bones.
Sorry, Gutter Bones.
You have one of the best names in the set, but one of the saddest rares.
All right, Maria, we were a little contentious about this one.
Yes, indeed. Which makes sense because I do love white bears.
Yes.
Which you might think are called polar bears,
you
but I'm
talking
about magic.
Do you mean polar bears?
You know what? That's what we should start calling white 2/2s for 2. Polar bears. I think that's cute. Yeah, Hero of Precinct One is the card in discussion right now on the table.
Yes.
It's a 2/2 for 2 at rare. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 1/1 white human creature token.
I'm so underwhelmed. I just don't even have words to say about it.
I'll say this. I'm whelmed. The only reason that I want to contest this card is because I did see it in action at the pre-release and it managed to create, I think, 3 or 4 humans, which is, a bit of value for this card. However, you do have to meet the conditions that we mentioned before, which is playing multicolored cards, enough of them in your deck, and playing them after you play Hero of Precinct 1.
Like, if you have this on turn 2 and you have enough multicolored cards in your deck, okay, it's going to be good. But what about the times when you draw this on turn 5?
Yeah, as
or
a
what
rare...
about the times when you just want to trade it off? Or again, what about the times when you play this on turn 2 and then your opponent on turn 3 plays a 2/3?
Sad. I do not hate a 2/2 for 2 in an Orzhov deck, unless the format turns out to be super, super slow. But like we said, you wish you had a better card as your rare than a 2/2 for 2.
Exactly. It's not a bad card. If you're in white, you're going to play this for sure.
Yeah.
But you're gonna wish your rare was a different, better card. Speaking of 2/2s for 2, our next worst rare for your pre-release is yet another one, Lavinia Azorius Renegade.
This is a chili polar bear.
White-blue for a 2/2. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls.
Wait, what? That's straight up.
People trying to...
Never gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's preventing shenanigans in other formats.
Yeah.
But in this format, nope. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell.
I want to know how that's happening in this format.
Yeah.
It's your pre-release.
So once again, Lavinia, even more than Hero of Precinct One, is just a 2/2 for 2, which is not where you want your rare to be.
The only way she does anything is if your opponent is playing some mana accelerant or something, or has a mana wrapped creature out, and she's like, whoa. You can't cast that. Which I guess in some corner cases could be relevant.
For non-creature spells. Not even if they just use ramp for a creature spell.
Which is usually what they're doing, by the way.
It's fine. They can still do that.
Yeah. This is a very sad rare.
Oh, rough. Do you know what? Let's just round it out.
Oh, this is a lot of bear hate.
One. It's a lot of bear. Usually people talk about hate bears in Modern and Standard, but we're talking about bear hate today.
This other bear hate we've got is for Tithe Taker, 1 in white for a 2/1, which again is, like base level C. It's a D or whatever in this set.
And this one has Afterlife 1 even, which
that's
is
all right.
really nice.
Yeah.
You're like, great, cool, but it's your rare.
It's your rare.
Your rare is a 2/1 for 2 with Afterlife 1. During your turn, spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponents activate cost 1 more to activate unless they're mana abilities. Okay.
So this is gonna do a little minor shenanigans with non-creature spells and stuff.
But they can just cast it for 1 more mana.
Yeah.
Or they can cast it on their turn.
I will say this is probably the best of our top 10 worst.
Yeah. It's either this or the Hero of Precinct One.
Or Hero, or Absorb, which is playable.
Absorb is totally solid. Again, we're not saying that these are all unplayable. We're just saying that if it's your rare, you're underwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And next to you, your opponent is, your friend at the pre-release is yeah, exactly. They're opening a 4/4 flyer, and you're like, okay.
The last item on our list is Rampage of the Clans.
That's right. 3 and a green for an instant. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 green centaur creature token.
Okay, so this is what I'm doing with this card.
Okay.
I wish this was another set where there's a bunch of artifacts running around, and then I'm turning them all into 3/3s.
You can make a bunch of your own artifacts and enchantments and then destroy them all. I appreciate that, but I do not appreciate this as a rare in my pre-release.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. I don't think there's enough cheap artifacts running around out there
I agree.
to make this happen, especially in sealed. I think this might be some kind of weird draft thing that you can do that nobody's discovered yet, but you certainly don't have cheap stuff like Skittering Surveyor running around to turn into a 3/3 or anything.
And also, if you destroy a Skittering Surveyor, you're a monster.
Accurate.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and if you're planning to use this on your opponent's artifacts and enchantments, beware, you're likely giving them an upgrade. So there you go. That's our list of top 10 worst rares and mythic rares to open in your pre-release for Ravnica Allegiance.
As always, an honorable mention shout out to all of the rare lands. They're going to be nice to open if you're just oh man, what are the ones that are in this set? If it's Hallowed Fountain and you're sick, now I own a Hallowed Fountain, but it's also your rare spot, so.
And I hope you're playing blue and white.
Exactly. We always give a shout out to all of the rare lands that are running around out there. They're sure going to disappoint a lot of people this weekend.
Hey, if you have an opinion on something we've said, please let us know down below in the comments with the hashtag #PoliteOpinion.
Yes. And if you are someone who inevitably opens just about all of these worst rares in your pre-release events this weekend, also let us know.
Please.
Because my favorites are some of the tweets from people who are just I got 6 of these.
Yeah. Please tweet at us at GLH5 Magic, because we will commiserate with you and your terrible, terrible luck.
As always, you can find all of our stuff at goodluck5.com and support this video and our other content at patreon.com/GLHF Magic.